මේ වීඩියෝ එක පටන් ගන්න කලින් මට පුංචි දැනුවක් කිරීමක් කරන්න තියෙනවා. ඒ තමයි මේ DP education ගැන. දැනටමත් ඔයාලා දන්නේ නැති මේ DP education ගැන ඔයාලා YouTube වල වීඩියෝස් බලලා ඇති. හරි. ඉතින් මේ DP education ගැන වැඩිදුර විස්තර දැනගන්න නම් මම පල්ලෙහා description එකේ ඒකට අදාළ link එකක් දාලා තිනවා. ඒකේ ඔයාලගේ details පොඩි details ටිකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ ටික fill කරාම ඔයාලට මේ DP education ගැන අලුත්ම updates, latest updates daily ඔයාලව update කරයි. අප්ඩේට් වලින්. ඉතින් ඒකත් ෆිල් කරන්න කියලා මං ඉල්ලනවා. ඉතින් ඔයාලට මේක කරන්න තියෙන්නේ dpeducation.lk කියලා සර්ච් කරලා හරි Play Store එකේ හරි කොහොම හරි app එක download කරගන්න. ඉතින් මම මේ app එක ගැන පොඩි විස්තරයක් කරන්නම්. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාලට පුළුවන් වීඩියෝ එක බලන්න යන්න. මුලින්ම ඔයාලට මේ වගේ ඉන්ටර්ෆේස් එකක්, ඒ කියන්නේ මේ වගේ ඉස්සරහට තුනක් තමයි එන්නේ. ඔයාලගේ language එක select කරලා ඔයාගේ app එකට ගියාම උනත් ඔයාලට ඕනම එකක් මෙතනදී grade එක select කරලා තෝරගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මෙයාලා අලුතෙන් කරලා තියෙන DP Kids එකට අනුව grade 1 2 උනත් access කරන්න පුළුවන් විදියට මෙයාලා අවස්ථාව දීලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේකේ විශේෂත්වය තමයි අපි උදාහරණයක් විදියට grade 10 එක ඇතුළට ගියොත් ඔයාලට වෙනම මේකේ videos හොයන්න පුළුවන්. උදාහරණයක් විදියට ගණිතයකට ගියොත් එයාලා වෙනම අපිට වෙන් කරලා දීලා තියෙනවා YouTube එක හරහා බලන්න. මේකේ ඇති විශේෂත්වය තමයි අපිට playlist එකක් access කරන්න බැරි වුණොත් අපිට YouTube page එකෙන් හොයාගන්න අමාරුයිනේ. ඒ හින්දා මේක app එක through මේ විදියටමයි අපිට ලේසියෙන් videos ටික හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් මං ආසම part එක තමයි දැන් ඉන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ DP University කියන එකට අපිව redirect වෙයි. එතන select කරාම හැබැයි app එක through මේක access කරන්න බෑ. වෙබ් එක through තමයි. ඉතින් මේකේ ලෝකේ තියෙන ප්‍රසිද්ධම යුනිවර්සිටි Harvard, University of Cambridge, Oxford, ඒ වගේ Berkeley වගේ ගොඩක් Stanford ගොඩක් යුනිවර්සිටි වල තියෙන free courses 8000කට වඩා අපිට එක තැනකට එකතු කරලා දීලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට අපි මෙතන උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් අපිට course එකක් explore courses වලට ගිහිල්ලා all categories ගියාම ඔයාලට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් කොච්චරනම් දේවල් free. හරිද? සතයක්වත් වියදම් කරන්න නැතුව අපිට ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් කාට හරි graphic designing ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. අපි ගිහලා select කරාම ඕනම දෙයක් video editing නැති දෙයක් නැති තරම්.
Hello guys, once again welcome to a brand new science episode of MEP TV Sri Lanka. And today we will be discussing the science 8th lesson, changes in matter, grade 8 science 8th lesson. So let's see. First of all, there are two types of changes in matter, and they are physical changes and chemical changes. Something which is not a paper cannot be formed by tearing the paper. We cannot make a substance or a matter that which is not a paper by tearing the paper. Therefore, such changes are known as physical changes. As an example, changes in which the composition of matter does not change even though its nature of existence change are called physical changes. This is the definition of the physical changes term. However, when the paper is burnt, ash and smoke are formed. This is an example for chemical changes. There the composition of this paper changed and new substances are formed. Such changes are known as chemical changes. There are so many activities in this lesson, and this is activity 1. Activity 8.1 in your textbook. You will need a beaker, water, salt, tripod, a spirit lamp or a Bunsen burner. So we have the method here, you can read it, and this is the observation and conclusion. A residue can be seen at the bottom of the beaker, and that residue is the salt that was previously dissolved in water. From this, it is clear that the change happening during the dissolving of salt in water is a physical. Activity 8.2 in your textbook. You will need a magnesium ribbon, a candle or a spirit lamp. This is the method. Before burning, the magnesium ribbon had a metallic luster. Luster means a shiny surface. When held to the flame, it burned with bright flame, leaving a white powder. Here the composition of magnesium has changed and a new substance has formed. Therefore burning of the magnesium ribbon is a chemical change. So The substance formed here is magnesium oxide. You will learn this in grade 9 and grade 10 properly. Changes of state as a physical change. The transition of a substance from the solid state to the liquid state is called melting or fusion. The converting process from the solid state to liquid state is called melting or fusion. Transition of a substance from the liquid state to solid state is called freezing. From liquid state to solid state is called freezing. When water is heated further, water vaporizes. The changes of a liquid into a gas is known as vaporization. From liquid state to gaseous state is vaporization. The conversion of a substance that exists in the gaseous state into liquid state is called condensation. From gaseous state to the liquid state is called condensation. So these terms, vaporization and condensation, can be seen in water cycle. The turning of a solid into vapor without passing through the liquid state is also a change of state. Because of that, we have a name, and that name is sublimation. We learned 5 changes of state, and this is the 5th one, sublimation, from solid to gaseous state. During a change of state, no new substances are formed by changing the composition. Therefore, the changes of state are physical changes. Those changes we learned here are physical changes. So solid into gas is sublimation, and gas into solid is also sublimation. Liquid into solid is freezing, and solid into liquid is fusion or melting. Liquid into gas is vaporization, and gas into liquid condensation. Chemical changes. This is activity 8.4 in your textbook, and you will need lead nitrate, a boiling tube, and a Bunsen burner. So we have a method here. The observation of this activity is when white lead nitrate is heated, a brown colored gas is evolved, leaving a red color powder in the boiling tube. Since the composition of lead nitrates has changed, this is a chemical change. So this is activity 8.5, and you will need copper sulfate, an iron nail, a boiling tube, and a thermometer. When a cleaned iron nail is placed in a copper sulfate solution, you would observe that the blue color of the solution decreases. A reddish brown substance deposits on the nail and at the bottom while the temperature rises. This is the observation of this activity. Activity 8.6. So the materials needed are a solution of copper sulfate, a solution of sodium hydroxide, and 2 test tubes to put them. This is the method, and the observation of this activity is when the copper sulfate solution is added to the sodium hydroxide solution, a formation of a light blue solid can be observed. Such solids are called precipitates. If we mix copper sulfate solution with the sodium hydroxide solution, a light blue solid can be observed, and such solids are called precipitates. This is activity 8.7 in your textbook, and the materials needed are diluted hydrochloric acid, zinc granule, and a boiling tube. The method for this activity is this, and the observation of this activity is here. When a granule of zinc is added into hydrochloric acid, we see that zinc dissolves and a gas is liberated. Liberated means a gas is made. This is an important topic in this lesson, and you need to pay your full attention for this. Chemical reactions. Evolution of gases, change in color, change in temperature, formation of precipitates, production of sound or light, production of an odor are some chemical reactions. You need to by heart this because this will be in your exam. The substances that get subjected to change during a chemical reaction are called reactants. The substances that get subjected to change during a chemical reaction are called reactants. The new substances formed by chemical reactions are referred to as products. Hence, in a chemical reaction, reactants turn into products. We have an example for this statement here. Magnesium plus oxygen is equal to magnesium oxide. You will learn this about in grade 10. Briefly, this is magnesium oxide. Magnesium plus oxygen magnesium oxide. So here these magnesium and oxygen are reactants, and the product of two reactants are magnesium oxide. Rusting of iron, tarnishing of metals, combustion of materials, decay of organic matter, ripening of fruits, blast of crackers, and digestion of food by enzymes are some chemical reactions taking place every day. Law of conservation of mass. This is activity 8.8, and the substances needed are iron wool, 2 identical iron wires, and a horizontal rod. The observation of this activity is iron wool burns giving reddish sparks. Iron wool burns giving reddish sparks. At the same time, the side with burnt wool moves down. From this, we can infer that when iron wool turns into the products of combustion, the mass is increased. So there are two systems in science, and those two are open systems and closed systems. So the definition for open system is the systems in which the substances can exchange between the system and the surroundings are referred to as open system. Open are referred to as open systems. They are not covered, and because of that we call those systems as open systems. Closed systems. The system in which the substance cannot exchange between the system and the environment are called closed systems. Activity 8.10. You will need a few matches, a boiling tube, and a rubber balloon. So this is the observation. When the matches burn, the balloon gets inflated gradually. During the reaction, the products are not lost. Also, it is seen that there is no change in the total mass before and after the reaction. The French scientist Antoine Lavoisier, who conducted many experiments such as the above in relation to various chemical reactions, showed for the first time that the total mass of substances taking part in the chemical reactions is equal to the total mass of the products obtained after the reaction. Later, this finding came to be known as the law of conservation of mass. So this is the law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. During chemical reactions, the total mass does not change. That means the mass is conserved. Law of conservation of mass. Combustion. This is a chemical change, so we are going to talk about combustion. Oxygen gas in air is essential for combustion. Oxygen is the gas in air that supports combustion. There are substances which can be burnt and which cannot be burnt. The substances that can be burnt are known as combustible substances, and the substances we cannot burn are non-combustible substances. So examples for combustible substances are camphor, wax, sulfur, flour, tar, sugar, black, petrol, and kerosene. Non-combustible substances are asbestos, glass, sand, and rock. The special feature of the reaction of combustion is that it is a chemical change which takes place releasing thermal energy and light energy. The temperature at which a combustible substance begins combustion in the air is called its ignition temperature, ignition point. Thus, three main factors essential for combustion can be identified, and they are presence of combustible substance, having access to supporter of combustion like oxygen, and heating the combustible substance to its ignition temperature or the ignition point. Fire triangle. The following figure, which shows the relationship among the factors required to create a fire, is known as the fire triangle. So the method we can use to extinguish a fire mostly throwing water over the burning material, or we can use sand with the fire too. So the fire triangle is consisted with So the fire triangle is consist with heat, oxygen and fuel. This is the ignition point or ignition temperature. Oxygen is the support of combustion and fuel is the combustible substance. This is the fire triangle. Fuels. Fuels are substances used to generate heat energy and light energy by combustion. Examples for solid fuels: firewood, coconut husks, and coconut shells and wax. Examples for liquid fuels: kerosene, petrol, diesel, and coconut oil. Examples for gaseous fuels are liquid petroleum gas, coal gas, and methane. Complete combustion and incomplete combustion of fuels. Complete combustion occurs when an adequate oxygen gas is supplied for the combustion. You know that fuels contain the elements carbon and hydrogen. On complete combustion, carbon gives carbon dioxide and hydrogen gives water. More heat is produced by the complete combustion. The combustion occurring in an inadequate supply of oxygen is called incomplete combustion. In this, carbon monoxide and unburned carbon particles are also produced in addition to carbon dioxide and water. In incomplete combustion, the quantity of heat produced by the flame is relatively low. Candle flame. It has three clearly visible zones in the candle flame. The inner zone is the non-luminous zone and it contains wax vapor and its temperature is lower than the others. Outer to the non-luminous zone is the luminous zone and the unburned carbon particles present in that zone. The temperature in this zone is greater than that of the non-luminous zone. Outer to the luminous zone in another zone which appears in blue color at the base. This is known as the outer zone and invisible zone and has the highest temperature. This is the outer zone, luminous zone, non-luminous zone, and this is blue zone, the outermost zone, outer zone. Bunsen flame. We talk about candle flame and let's talk about Bunsen flame. The color of Bunsen flame changes with the amount of oxygen gas supplied for combustion. When the oxygen supply decreases, the flame turns yellow, and when the flame receives enough oxygen, it turns blue. By observing the blue flame well, several zones it can be identified. At the center of it is the non-luminous zone consisting of unburnt gas. Outer to the non-luminous zone lies a dark blue zone and light blue zone, respectively. The outer part is the invisible zone, and in the invisible zone, complete combustion occurs. This is invisible zone, light blue zone, dark blue zone, non-luminous zone, stem, collar, air pore, gas tube, and foot. Tarnishing of metals. When metals are exposed to air for a long period, the luster disappears. Luster means the shiny surface. The change in surface of metals like this is called tarnishing. Almost every metal tarnishes. A substance called rust is formed on the surface of iron due to the tarnishing, and this is reddish brown in color and it is called iron rust. This process is called rusting of iron. අපි මේ rusting of iron කියන එකට සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ මල කඩ මැදෙනවා කියලා. Protection of iron from rusting. Application of paint is frequently used method to prevent rusting of iron. You have heard about the galvanized iron items. During galvanizing, zinc metal is applied on objects made of iron. Application of tin metal is also another method used to protect iron from rusting. Neutralization. When an acid is added to the base or When an acid is added to a base or base is added to an acid, the acidic and basic properties decrease, and at a certain point, acidic and basic properties totally disappear. This process is called neutralization. You know that sodium hydroxide is a base and hydrochloric acid is an acid. When these two react, sodium chloride and water are formed, which are neutral substances. A chemical reaction, and it is referred to as neutralization reaction. When acidity in the stomach increases, milk of magnesia is administered. Milk of magnesia means the base magnesium hydroxide. This base neutralizes the excess hydrochloric acid in the stomach. The pain caused by the bee stings disappear on applying of lime. When the bee sting, acidic substances are introduced into the skin. Lime is a base, so it neutralizes. The wasp sting is basic. Therefore, when an acidic substance such as vinegar or lemon juice is applied on the poison, gets neutralized, relieving the pain. Lime is applied to the acidic soil. Lime, which is a base, neutralizes acids in the soil. A bottle of milk of magnesia liquid can be seen here. So guys, thanks for watching this video up to the very end, and if you have any question related to this lesson, leave a comment, and if you like this video, put a like too. Don't forget to subscribe. So bye bye.